This video is digitized from a reel of silent 8mm film. I love it when I get a film that has a identifying placard like that and like this. And as you see, this is from the Korean War. It was filmed from February 1952 to January 1953, and it's of the 49th Fighter Bomber Wing that was stationed out of K2 Air Base in Taegu, Korea. And you can see there's just some great footage here of this. It's there's no combat footage in this. It's all base footage of getting planes ready for missions, loading them up with bombs, arming them, test firing the machine guns, and so forth. All the the logistics and maintenance that goes behind making a functional Air Force, and functional and effective Air Force. And yeah, it's I don't know the name of the gentleman that filmed this. You'll see him here. I'll point him out, who I think he is. He's definitely an officer. I don't think he was a pilot at this time. I think at some point in his career he was more than likely a pilot. I think that's how your career would progress as a pilot, and then into management. So I don't know if he's the executive officer or the CEO here, and you'll definitely see him. This is who I think filmed this right here, and you can see he's walking the bomb yard here. And that in the background, you're going to is an F-84 jet, and you're going to see a lot more of those. That was the workhorse here, the 49th Fighter Bomber Group. And this right here is actually napalm, which was pretty famous, or made famous, I would think, during the Vietnam War as a incendiary for clearing out jungled areas. And here it's being used in Korea, and I just think it's interesting. You're going to see these bombs filled with napalm, or housing casings filled with napalm, are leaking, and you saw he just dipped his hand in it. And you'll see he'll do it again here, and there'll be another guy catching it into a can. And I guess it's not bothering him, and in this state. But yeah, this gentleman right here is who I think, and you can see it clearly states napalm use only on the side here. But yeah, just you'll see some exceptional footage coming up here, and there's this guy's catching some here too. So obviously these weren't the best made bombs for those, or capsules for them. And then here we are in the bomb yard, and you're going to see them get all these bombs ready and loaded up. And then they're going to start loading them onto these F-84s, and it's just some exceptional footage here. Now I don't know what type of bombs these are, and I don't know. Obviously they're gravity bombs, but I don't know the size of them. If they're 500, 1,000, 2,000 pound bombs. Like I mentioned, I don't know what size bombs these are. They look like there's a couple of different ones. Now these right here, it looks like they're going to load these onto an F-84 here in a minute, and they're going to put 2 on her, and the F-84 could handle a 4,000 pound bomb load. So I would assume that would be 2,000 pound bombs. So those bombs right there would be 2,000 pounds. So one on each side, gives her a bomb load of 4,000 pounds. And then she also had 6 12.7 millimeter Browning machine guns mounted on her. And you can see that's an F-84 Thunderjet right there in the background. And and those are the bombs that they're going to get ready to load onto her. And looks like the 49th mascot right there. It's got to be their dog. It's got a collar on it, and doesn't look like it's a Korean dog. Yeah, if you knew if the 49th had a mascot, leave a comment. Like I say, just some great footage of them, getting this bomb load ready here. And this could have, during this time frame, the 49th was engaged in air interdiction and transportation routes like roads and railroads between Pyongyang and Sinuiju. And they also flew close support missions for ground forces and, attacked high-value targets. And, some of their bigger missions here in 1952 were the Suho hydroelectric plant in June of 52 and the Kumgang political school in October of 52. And, they could have been just loading up for one of those missions right here. And here you can see they're getting ready to attach this this bomb to the F-84 Thunderjet. And you're gonna, just the film work here is just fantastic. Getting down here with them, getting ready to attach the bomb. There it is. One of them already ready to go. Now see right here, I'm not too sure. You have to let me know. Say I don't have an Air Force background. Mine's in the Army and the Coast Guard. Is he arming it right now with this with that device? You see, getting the next one loaded up there. You say they're just, gravity bombs. Once he releases it, it's just going to fall. And here they're working on the machine guns. Like I said, there's 6 of them, and each one's a 12.7 millimeter. And I believe what you're seeing here is those canisters that they're loading up are what the shells, the Browning machine gun shells, the 12.7 millimeter cartridges are loaded into those, and you can see the little slots up there on the nose of the aircraft. Those are actually the ends of the gun barrel. So those canisters right there would have the ammunition in them, and you could see it there for a second when he was setting it in, and there they are. There's a nice close-up of them. And then you can see what the barrels coming out right there. And here they're getting ready to load up the wing-mounted 12.7 millimeter or 50 caliber machine guns. As I said, there was 4 up on the nose there, and then 1 on each wing, and they're getting ready to put the ammo into those feeders. And then here comes the pilots out to the flight line. And there you go, he's filling the tray up. And there's, she is, no guts, no glory. And all loaded up, ready to go. And of course, I guess, you know, aviation tradition, mark up the bombs. And you're going to see plenty of greetings on these bombs to the North Koreans and Chinese from the 49th Fighter Bomber Squadron. And I'll just let you enjoy them as they film them here. And just some general characteristics of the Republic F-84 Thunderjet. She had a maximum speed of 622 miles per hour, a cruising speed of 483 miles per hour, a range of 670 miles. She had a service ceiling of 40,500 feet and a time to altitude 7.9 minutes to 35,000 feet. And as I mentioned, she carried 6 50 caliber 12.7 millimeter guns, and she could carry up to 32 5-inch rockets, and a 4,000 pound bomb load. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess she was pretty well armed for a fighter jet of the time period. And as I mentioned earlier, I believe this gentleman right here is the owner of this film. And as you can, I don't think he's the pilot. It looks like he's probably in charge of the some sort of ground operations here, and looks like he's walking the flight line here, making sure everything's good to go with these planes, and that they're all loaded up correctly and ready to go on their mission. And now that these F-84s are all loaded up and ready for combat, they're going to line up here on the flight line and get ready to take off. Here's some nice footage of them taking off in pairs. And I wouldn't be surprised if this bombing operation, just because of the scale of it here, with the number of assets that they're arming and loading up and sending off here, and then you'll see that in the subsequent footage when they return. I do believe this is the attack on the Suho Dam and hydroelectric plant in June 23rd, 24th, and June 26th and 27th of 1952. It was a series of mass attacks, that were a joint UN command effort with multiple air groups involved, and the attacks were intended to apply political pressure at the stalled truce negotiations at Panmunjom, and the facility was heavily defended by the Soviet, Chinese, and North Korean air forces, as well as a major anti-aircraft gun battery. And the hydroelectric targets were subject to attacks totaling over 1,500 sorties. And these were conducted jointly by fighters and fighter bombers of the U.S. Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, South African Air Force. And the first time in 21 months that the separate air arms had worked together on a massive scale. And the attacks on the facility was followed 17 days later by another series of large-scale joint attacks on the capital city of Pyongyang. So this could be those two. And the attacks destroyed 90% of the facility's targeted and completely knocked out power in North Korea for 2 weeks, as well as reducing available power to Northeast China by 23%. North Korea built new facilities, but did not restore its previous capacity until after the armistice in 1953. And these attacks here were led by Lieutenant Colonel Gordon F. Blood, and with the 49th Fighter Bomber Group. But like I said, there was, you had the 5th Air Force, which entailed the 4th Fighter Intercept Group, 51st Fighter Intercept Group, 8th Fighter Bomber Group, 18th Fighter Bomber Group, 49th Fighter Bomber Group, 136th Fighter Bomber Group, 1st Marine Aircraft Wing, Marine Aircraft Group 12, Marine Aircraft Group 33, and also naval assets from the 7th Fleet, Task Force 77, Carrier Air Group 7, Carrier Air Group 11, Carrier Air Group 2, and Carrier Air Group 19. And and here you can see the ground crew, waiting for the planes to come back. And it's just reminiscent. It reminds me of World War II and the ground crews waiting for the bombers to come back after a bombing mission, and seeing who made it and who didn't, and actually how the mission went. And you can see they're looking in the skies, waiting, and then here they come. And on that mission, all those units I mentioned here previously had different targets, and the 49th targets on the 23rd and 24th of June was the Suho Dam itself. And here you could see they're back on the ground, and they're definitely jubilant, and it's more than just I would say just a regular bombing mission. And I I can't identify any of these pilots. I can't see, you know, their names on on their planes. If you know, please leave a comment. And I'd imagine that's a beer because this pilot right here looks like he's got a bottle of whiskey or something there. Yeah, definitely a good mission. And the 136 Fighter Bomber Group also flew out of K2 at Taegu for this mission. And coming up here, you'll see right here that they're working on the, looks like the forward machine guns again. And like I say, there was 4 machine guns there on the nose, 2 on each side, and they were 12.7 millimeter Browning machine guns. And there was also 1 on each wing, and you saw earlier in the film where they were actually taking out the ammunition boxes there on the wing. And this looks like, you know, combat damage from, I don't know if it was from the earlier mission to the hydroelectric plant. It looks like it may be a little further on in the year, since they look like they're have jackets on. And you can see definitely some damage in the back. This, I think, is actually our first look at the North American F-86 Sabre. And you can see she's got the 6 12.7 millimeter 50 caliber guns mounted on her nose, which he was just feeling there, the exit there of the barrel. And we're actually going to get a nice side-by-side comparison. There's the North American F-86 Sabre in the background, and then coming up here is the Republic F-84 Thunderjet. You see the difference. And now we're at the, this looks like some sort of communications jeeps. You'll see it says 9th Fighter Bomber Squadron site radar. So these are some sort of electronic maintenance vehicles. And the 9th Fighter Bomber Squadron was a subordinate command to the 49th Bomber Squadron. And you'll see they're going to take this out and work on one of the aircraft. I'm not sure if these were production maintenance vehicles. It almost looks, you'll see here the way they kind of have it rigged up with a motor in the passenger seat there. It almost looks like maybe it was, you know, field modified. And here they are, you know, with it hooked up, working on one of these F-84s. And say I'm not too familiar with what they're doing here. If you know, leave a comment. You can see there's the engine, or the motor that's actually powering this. I think that's just a piece of ground maintenance equipment there, just providing electrical power. Like I said earlier, you know, this is an F-84. Here you are. They're going to be pulling this jet up to the firing range and sighting in its guns, which is pretty cool. I've never seen this before. Of course, another F-84. And there's looking downrange where they're going to be, oh, there they go. They're firing some of these 12.7 millimeters or 50 caliber. And as I mentioned earlier, the F-84 had 4 on the nose and 1 on each wing, and the F-86 had the 6 all on the nose. Here we are looking at the target again as they're firing. Yeah, I mean, this video definitely, this film definitely captures all the, you know, the maintenance and logistics that go into supporting these aircraft. It doesn't look like they're doing too bad here. At least they're on the target. Each one of the 6 12.7 millimeter or 50 cal Browning machine guns on board the F-84 could handle 300 rounds each. So total of 1,800 rounds that she could carry along with her bomb load. So I'm not too sure how that stacks up with other aircraft of the time, but sounds pretty hefty to me. I don't know if you noticed, but you could while they're firing the machine guns here on this F-84, you can see the Koreans there in the background just working in the fields, and I guess, you know, kind of oblivious or just, you know, accustomed to the machine guns firing there on you know, that F-84. You know, granted it is wartime in Korea. This is pretty far south. I think they probably only experienced the initial push, you know, early on in the 1950s. But this area was pretty much, you know, occupied by United Nations forces for most of the Korean War. And yeah, just some, you know, great film work here, and film quality. You know, the owner of this film, whoever, you know, filmed it, had a really nice camera for the time, and some nice quality film. I mean, I processed a lot of 8mm film, and for 8mm, this is pretty nice. You can tell it was from a good camera and good quality film. For the remainder here, I'm not too sure. I'm not even going to try to guess what these transports are flying over. There's so many different types for this time period. If you know, please leave a comment. But yeah, this is basically how this video and film concludes, with just some flyovers of these transports, and you can see the K2, the barracks, which those Kwanzaa nuts, exactly what you know, I experienced in 1982, 30 years later, not at K2, but, you know, up towards the DMZ. So those were everlasting there. And yeah, so just some nice footage here of the camp, K2, the air base, and surrounding area. And yeah, I try to upload military and patriotic videos to my site here every other day. And if you're interested in a good read, check out my books at my website, www.edsemler.com. And hope you enjoyed this piece of piece of history documenting the Korean War and 49th Fighter Bomber Group at K2 Air Base in Taegu, Korea. Oh, and I just wanted to mention that I do have a couple of videos from the person that owned this film. It was a huge 7-inch reel, and so I took some. This one was already at 34 minutes, so I broke out some of the, you know, just the mundane base life footage and put that in a video. And he also had some footage of R&R in Japan. So yeah, check if you're interested in the same gentleman that filmed this. Check those out on my site under the playlist Korea.